Hello, everybody. This is Dave Gilreath from Sheaff Brock Investment Advisors. It is July of 2021. Remember, Sheaff Brock is a firm that uses innovative portfolios for intelligent investors like you. So today we're going to talk about the U.S. versus China and the economies and which one's getting bigger, smaller, what might happen in the next 30, 40 years, something like that. The recent news in the last 6 months or so has shown that China could overtake the U.S. as far as the largest economy goes in the next few years, and that COVID has accelerated that. For 130 years, the U.S. has been the biggest global economy, and now China is set to pass us by, and they probably will. But do they have staying power? And that's the whole subject of today's discussion. And my contention is they might not have staying power. There's three big reasons. The first is demographics. A GDP of a country is really dependent upon two things, mainly the population growth and the productivity. Those are kind of the big keys. And first, if we talk about demographics, China's population is set to peak at about 2030 in a few years from now, which is about when their economy should peak as well. And you can see in this slide that the United States is the only major country, the only one with a large force in the global economy, who's set to gain population in the next 100 or 80 years, according to this slide. And China is the main big country that is projected to lose population. And that's really based upon demographics and the aging of their population and immigration. So in the last 30 years, now 80 years is a long way to project, but 30 years is not so bad. You know, it's easier to project that. So the working age population is the most important thing. And these are the ones that are contributing to the economy, that are supporting the younger children and supporting the older people. And these are the ones that create new businesses and things like that. So that's the most important thing. In the last 30 years, the US, China, South Korea all had large growth in their working age population, whereas some of these other countries like Italy and Japan, things like that, whose economies didn't grow as much, had a decline in their working age population. Now, the next 30 years is a big change. So the next 30 years, the United States is the only major economy that's going to have a growing working age population. And you ask, why is that? And it's because the biggest difference is immigration. We allow and encourage, in fact, immigration. It's in our DNA, basically, you could say. So the United States is the only country that has basically 4 times the number of immigrants of any other country on the planet. And ours is actually going up versus going down. Countries that lose population is on this slide. You can see that China has lost 10 million people that are born in China and currently living abroad, whereas the United States has like 500. There's very few that have left the United States and gone to other countries. So the other big reason, the second big reason, is productivity. So China's productivity in the last few years, you read, has been so high, and it's much higher than the United States. And that's true, but it has for the last 5 years been coming down, where the US productivity has been going up. Now, China, as you can see on the slide, is coming off of a very low base. So China's productivity per person is way below the United States, like 1/5 of it. So even if they just continue to increase and increase and increase, they probably won't catch the United States, certainly for the next 30 years. And lastly, the biggest companies, this is a list of the 50 biggest companies. 33 of the top 50 companies were founded in the United States. Now, why is that? Well, the U.S. has better rule of law. We have better patent protection. We have intellectual property that's protected. There's not theft of international property in this country like there is in China, certainly. We're a democracy, and even though people they think our government is heavy-handed, the government here is much less heavy-handed than China. I mean, just take a look at Hong Kong. That's a great example. Lastly, if you ask people around the world what governments they trust, the one that comes nearly last all the time, as far as big countries go anyway, is China. So if you look at this list, almost half of the Fortune 500 companies of all were founded by, almost half were founded by immigrants. And many on this list, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Google, were all founded by immigrants, including some of the big old school companies like Kraft and AT&T and Pfizer. So yes, China could surpass the United States as far as size goes, but I don't know that their future is bright, only because of the lower birth rate, the population problems, the immigration problems, the productivity, which is still very, very low. GDP per person in China is about a fifth of what, or fourth of what it is in this country. And basically, if you want to get rich in this world, you come to the United States to get rich. That's all we have today. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.